All right, let's dive right into this explainer and figure out exactly how a metallurgical engineer from Chennai transformed into the ultimate corporate statesman of the tech world. Welcome to a fascinating business case study on Sundar Pichai, the CEO of Google and its parent company, Alphabet. Now, today, we aren't just skimming through a biography. We are going to extract a highly actionable management philosophy. We're going to see how a deeply analytical mind scales up to manage global human potential, steer through massive controversies, and drive one of the largest companies in human history.
Subscribe to Science for more fascinating, insightful, and wealthy stories.
Here's our roadmap for today. First, the methodical engineering mind. Second, the Chrome strategy. Third, Google versus Alphabet leadership. Fourth, managing crisis and controversy. And finally, number 5, the Pichai playbook.
Section 1. The methodical engineering mind. From IIT Kharagpur to Silicon Valley.
You know, it's pretty interesting. Pichai actually didn't start his career in software at all. He started in the physical, unforgiving reality of materials. He earned a degree in metallurgical engineering from the highly prestigious IIT Kharagpur in India and followed that up with a master's in material science from Stanford. Then he went to work at Applied Materials, which is a semiconductor manufacturer. As he famously pointed out, semiconductor engineering absolutely forces you to be methodical in setting your goals and working your way through them. Because think about it. You can't just hack together a microchip, right? It requires profound, meticulous discipline. And that exact discipline became the absolute bedrock of his entire leadership style.
So he takes this rigorous engineering discipline and he completely levels it up at McKinsey & Company. After his time at Applied Materials, he earned an MBA from Wharton and joined the management consultant firm. And honestly, this is where the magic happens. Setting precise goals and working methodically through a process, well, that's pure engineering. But bridging those technical breakthroughs with big-picture strategic business acumen, that is pure McKinsey. He wasn't just an engineer anymore. He was a strategic operator who could translate complex technical realities into massive corporate victories.
Moving on to Section 2, the Chrome strategy, turning a defensive threat into market dominance. Picture this, it's 2004, and Pichai is leading the development of the Google toolbar. This was a critical piece of software that lived inside browsers like Microsoft's Internet Explorer. But by 2006, he spots what is basically a doomsday scenario. Microsoft was threatening to change Internet Explorer to block users from installing the Google toolbar. That would have absolutely devastated Google's search revenue. Now, notice how aggressively he responded to this. He didn't just try to quietly tweak the toolbar. He convinced Google's founders that they needed to build their very own browser to control their own destiny. And that browser, launched in 2008, was Google Chrome. But here's the kicker. Instead of just throwing a new product out there and crossing his fingers, he engineered the adoption process. He set massively ambitious, heavily metric-driven targets. 20 million users in year 1, 50 million in year 2, and a whopping 100 million by 2010. By establishing these concrete, measurable milestones, he totally aligned his engineering and marketing teams around a singular, undeniable metric of success. It was literally process engineering applied to user adoption. And the result of that methodical engineering? Absolute market dominance. Today, Google Chrome holds roughly 64% of the entire global market. Just think about that for a second. What started out as a defensive maneuver to protect a search toolbar was engineered methodically, step by step, into absolute dominance. This huge success completely skyrocketed Pichai through the ranks. It proved once and for all he could handle the technical minutiae and the grand strategic vision simultaneously. Section 3, Google versus Alphabet leadership, scaling from core operations to macro strategy. Now, if you are a manager looking to scale your own career, you really need to consider this contrast. In 2015, Pichai is named CEO of Google. His focus here is highly operational, right? He's integrating massive core products like Android and Chrome, and he is the guy who strategically declares that Google is pivoting to become an AI-first company. He's firmly in the daily trenches of product execution. But jump ahead to 2019. He's elevated to CEO of Alphabet, the parent company. Now he isn't just running search. He is managing a massive portfolio of other bets, from self-driving cars at Waymo to life sciences at Verily. He successfully transitions from a daily operational leader to a macro-level portfolio manager and a global corporate statesman. To really understand the sheer scale of his operational success at Google, just wrap your head around this staggering number, $480 trillion.
Under his mandate to transition to an AI-first company, 480 trillion AI tokens are now processed every single month across Google's products and APIs. That number is proof that his methodical, forward-looking strategy back in 2015 wasn't just some corporate buzzword. It was a hard engineering directive that fundamentally re-architected the scale of the company's computing power.
All right, Section 4, Managing Crisis and Controversy, the ultimate test of leadership. This right here is the question every single corporate manager eventually faces when navigating controversies at scale. Pichai is widely known for an empathetic, inclusive, people-first management style. But how does that soft power actually hold up against hard, polarizing crises? How do you balance emotional intelligence with strict corporate discipline? So let's impartially observe his management responses to these highly charged realities on the ground. We've got the firing of an engineer over an anti-diversity manifesto in 2017, then being pulled before U.S. Congress in 2018, navigating heavy employee backlash following major layoffs in 2023, and the firing of 28 employees protesting Project Nimbus in 2024. As observers of management technique, we aren't here to debate the politics at all. We are here to analyze how the CEO managed the structural integrity of his company through these massive storms.
Take a look at his response to those 2024 internal protests. It draws a definitive line. He explicitly stated that the office is not a place to fight over disruptive issues or debate politics, nor is it to be used as a personal platform. So, while he heavily values an open culture, he utilized his executive authority to strictly define the operational parameters of the workplace. He prioritized the company's core mission and its organizational stability over open-ended internal activism.
And just see this operational discipline extend to external crises too, like his grueling 2018 congressional hearings. When faced with politicians grilling him on political bias, data privacy, and foreign expansion, his leadership technique was fascinating to watch. He completely stripped away the emotion. He reverted right back to his roots. He presented strictly factual, engineering-minded answers. He calmly explained the mathematical impossibility of individual employees altering search algorithms. He laid out the exact mechanisms for data opt-outs. He essentially de-escalated the political theater by suffocating it with operational reality.
Which brings us to Section 5, the Pichai Playbook, Engineering Empathy and the Future.
If we were to define his entire style, it boils down to this. Analytical rigor and emotional intelligence are not mutually exclusive. They are absolutely complementary tools for a modern executive. You need the strict engineering discipline to set massive metric-driven goals like Chrome's user acquisition, but you desperately need the inclusive empathy to keep 180,000 employees pulling in the exact same direction without breaking the corporate culture.
This is a mindset that evolved over decades. He went from managing the atomic structure of semiconductor materials at Applied Materials to managing global human potential at Alphabet. It's a profound shift from optimizing hardware to optimizing the actual people who build the hardware. By focusing on removing roadblocks for his team and ensuring their success, the success of the overarching company naturally follows. As we wrap up this explainer, I want you to reflect on your own approach. Look at your team right now. Are you leaning too far into feelings, maybe lacking those metric-driven goals? Or are you so intensely focused on the data that you've forgotten how to empathetically guide your people? The Pichai Playbook demands both. Think about how you can integrate the discipline of a materials engineer with the diplomacy of a global statesman in your very next meeting. Until next time, keep analyzing, keep learning, and keep building.
Subscribe to Scion for more fascinating, insightful, and wealthy stories.